Imagine a place where the air is so thin, your brain begins to starve for oxygen. A place where the temperature drops to minus 60 degrees Celsius and the wind screams with the force of a freight train. At 29,032 feet, you aren't just standing on a mountain, you are standing in the death zone. In this frozen wasteland, the human body is literally dying with every second that passes. Cells begin to fail, the blood thickens like sludge, and every breath is a desperate battle for survival. And yet, every year, hundreds of people risk everything they love for a few minutes of glory. Why? Because it is there. Because it is Everest. To the Tibetans, she is Chomolungma, the mother goddess of the world. To the Nepalese, she is Sagarmatha, the peak of heaven. To the rest of the world, she is Mount Everest. Born from a violent tectonic collision 50 million years ago, Everest is still a work in progress, growing about 1/4 of an inch every year. It is a monument of limestone, marble, and shale that was once at the bottom of the ocean. Today, it sits where the sky meets the stars, piercing the jet stream and mocking the limits of human biology. The quest to conquer the peak began not with high-tech gear, but with grit and wool. In 1924, George Mallory was asked why he wanted to climb it. His 3-word reply became immortal: because it's there. Mallory and his partner, Andrew Irvine, vanished into the mist near the summit. For decades, the world wondered, did they make it? Mallory's frozen body was finally found in 1999, preserved like a marble statue by the cold, but the mystery of whether they reached the top remains buried in the snow. It wasn't until May 29, 1953, that the peak finally yielded. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay stood where no human had ever stood before. They didn't find glory in the traditional sense. They found a way back down alive. We must speak of the Sherpas, for Everest would be impossible for most without them. To many, it's a trophy. To the Sherpas, it is a sacred home and a dangerous workplace. They are the ones who fix the ropes, carry the oxygen tanks, and set up the camps. They possess a genetic adaptation to high altitudes that makes them superhuman in the eyes of scientists. They are the backbone of the mountain, often risking their lives so others can take a selfie at the top. They carry the weight of the world on their shoulders with a deep spiritual respect for the mountain they call the Mother. The path to the top is a gauntlet of terrors. First, there is the Khumbu Icefall, a moving river of ice that can collapse at any second. Then comes the death zone, above 8,000 meters. At this altitude, there is only 1/3 of the oxygen found at sea level. Hypoxia sets in. You lose the ability to think clearly. You make fatal mistakes. Your heart beats at a frantic pace just to keep you standing. You have roughly 20 hours to get up and down before your body shuts down completely. There is no rescue at this height. This is why the trail is marked by those who reached their limit and became permanent residents of the mountain. But Everest has changed. What was once a lonely wilderness is now a crowded commercial enterprise. In recent years, traffic jams in the death zone have led to tragic deaths. The mountain is also suffering. Tons of trash and old gear are emerging from the melting glaciers, a grim reminder of the human footprint. The roof of the world is becoming the world's highest junkyard. Ultimately, Everest is more than a mountain. It is a mirror. It reflects our greatest ambitions and our deepest flaws. She was here long before us, rising from the sea to touch the stars. And she will be here long after our names are forgotten. We do not conquer Everest. She merely decides to let us survive her for a few fleeting minutes. As the sun sets over the Himalayas, we are reminded of our place in the universe. Small, fragile, but possessed of a spirit that refuses to stay on the ground.